Hi YouTube. This probably isn't the video that you expected. And honestly, I've been thinking about making this video for way longer than I'd like to admit. Alright, so, this is Undertale Test Place Reborn, one of my favorite Roblox games, and something I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while. If you've been on my stream, you've seen me play this game a couple times, especially when waiting, and I just love it. So, what I want to do, I'm going to go over all the characters, majority of their moves, and also what I like and dislike about them. Two main things we're going to rate them on. How easy they are to pick up, and how difficult they are to master. I'm going to compare these very, very differently and very critically, because I've played this game for a while, and I will show preference. I will absolutely be biased in this, because it's just how I play, it's just how I am. If you don't like it, go do something else, I don't care. Anyways, we're gonna go from top down, starting with a very strong one, Gerson. Don't worry, I have the Susie skin. Now, Gerson is a very strong character, and I think they're easy to pick up, but difficult to master, and that's mainly because they have a right-click. This right-click changes their entire character, quite literally, because you can both do it in the air and on the ground. Most common combo you're gonna see with the Gerson usually involves them running up, doing this, their dash, usually, really? Okay, well, that's fun. Take two. Alright, let's try that again now, shall we? Basic combo, or quote-unquote basic, really, with Gerson, that you're gonna see most players use, and I don't care if people decide to copy me, like, dude, it's how the game works, just, if you're gonna do it, do it. Quick hit, 5, right click, 2, dash, that, 4, and then 1. Now, if that was confusing, don't worry, that's normal. We're gonna go over all of these hit moves one by one, just so you guys can get a feel for it. So, as we've seen before, Gerson's 1 will teleport you on top of the opponent and bash them. Simple enough. Now, when that misses, you're not gonna see a lot of that because, well, they're not exactly moving. You do get stunned for a bit, which I think is really good. It adds risk to the move, so you can't just spam it, unlike some other moves. Gerson's 2 is this. Quick charge up, and you can select any of those three. From what I've seen, personally, is that the first option does the most damage very quickly, but doesn't stun the opponent. The second one does a mediocre does, I believe, the lowest damage at a somewhat medium pace. And the last one does medium damage at the longest pace, and also ends with a knockback. All of them have different purposes and things that they do, so yeah. Gerson's 3 is this. Charges up for a bit, and you can chuck axes. And if you press 3 again during it, you can jump to change your location. That also depends on which movement button you're using. So if you're holding forward, you're going forward as you're jumping back, etc., etc. If you press 4, launch a Root Buster. If you tap before you hit the opponent, they knock back. 5 is a grab, as we've seen. And then the most interesting part of Gerson, besides his right click, which is both this, but also an aerial, is that his counter is one of the few counters that work on almost everything in the game. The only thing that doesn't work on is grapples. Grapples being, like, grabbing. I don't know how else to explain that. It's quite literally just a grapple. Now, I can't show that because none of these dummies hit, but it's a very short one, and if you miss, that's going on cooldown for fucking 70 seconds, ridiculously long. But it's fair, you can counter anything with it. Something else I do know about it, though, besides, of course, their laughter, if you try and switch tabs, is that if you hit the counter, like, 3 or so times, you enter a supercharged state, which buffs your moves. It buffs damage, it buffs speed. With the 1, it hits an additional couple times, and the 3, when held down specifically... Okay, I thought I held that long enough. It would throw 5 axes instead of 3 if you held it down, and you could jump more often. Which I don't see a lot of players knowing about. It could be because the move is really hard to hit, but it is possible. Anyhow, they do have the second phase. Because of course they do. Essentially, it's just the first phase, but buffed up. It's not really anything different. But, hey... It's a second phase. Take it or leave it, guys. This is a really long cutscene. Can I please skip this? No, I can't. Okay, great. But there's one main buff that you're gonna... Well, two main buffs that you're gonna notice. Besides everything else, I assume doing more damage? Yeah, everything does more damage. Is that the 1 now has 3 separate hits. And that the 4 now has 2 people. Essentially doubling its damage. So yeah, that's Gerson. I would say he's easy to pick up, but difficult to master. The reason he's difficult to master is because 2 mechanics that end up being used heavily within his combos. The first one being hold 3. Because this takes a while to charge. Why does that not send out 3? Is it because I'm not locked on something? That might be it. And also, this. You'd be surprised how much this changes a Gerson can play. Because you can do that really fast, really. You need to learn how to gauge distance, gauge speed, gauge direction on your opponents and which directions they're going. Really hard to do in Showcase because, again, I'm in a private server. These idiots don't move at all. But that makes his character a lot better in my eyes. It makes him more dynamic. It makes you have to actually react to stuff. So it ends up being fun. As opposed to the next character. Where do I even begin? Okay, so Jevil, probably the most hated character in the entire fucking game. And that's just because he's not fun to go against. He's the easiest character to play in the game. Like, that's just straight, that's just how it is. He's the easiest character to play and easiest character to master because there's just nothing to him. And instead, he just does stupid amounts of damage for no reason. Is there a dummy with, like, more defense? Alright, cool. Highest base defense in the game, 250. I'm gonna do 1 Jevil combo. Well, first I'll show off the moves. So here's the left mouse button. Pretty simple. Very simple, really. You just knock him down into back. Now, something that a lot of players can figure out is that you can just... If you can't seal a combo, they're just kind of down in front of you and you can do whatever you want to them. This will become important. Is 1, after you throwing this spinning scythe. Fun fact, it used to not hit opponents when they were on the ground. They buffed it so it could. Why the fuck did they buff it? I don't know. His 2 does the spinning thing, and all of them are unblockable and home straight onto their target. Fun. Often comboed by noobs, mostly because it's the exact button in numerical order, but honestly just probably one of the best moves you can do, because it's really hard to fucking dodge, is if you hold 3 here, that teleports you essentially directly on top of them, and does more, you guessed it, homing damage. Very annoying. His 4 used to be a counter, now it's this. And guess what? Now they're directly below you, so you can do this. The equivalent to his nuke. Oh, and hey, they're below you again, so you can also do this. Do you see the problem here? You can hit this combo by barely any game knowledge, and also not have to move, and also, while they're at full stamina, all at once, and there's almost 0 counterplay against it. Because why the fuck would there be counterplay? Right, guys? So, in real time, allow me to show you how this combo would likely look. Give me 1 second to reset my cooldowns, because that's just how this game works. And yeah, these cooldowns are also really fast. These combos are ridiculous with Jevil. Give me this guy. Actually, no, not the 160. Give me the 250. So I can showcase how much damage this thing actually does. It's ridiculous. So, I did not hit you. Alright. Annoying. Can you fuck off? Like, actually? Oh, okay, really. Okay, you know what? You know what? This also has way too big of a hitbox. Why is that the one time it only hits one thing? Are you kidding me? Okay, how can I extract this? There we go. Extracted. Holy fuck, that took way too long. So, in short, basic combo look like this. 4. Move forward. 5. Boom. Can't do anything. Oh, hey, guess what? Now you can do it too. You have 2 seconds to react. And even if you do, you still have to dodge this shit. You can hit this. Cool. 85 fucking damage from that one combo. Are you joking me? Now, of course, those numbers are probably going to be inflated because I hit a couple of dummies sitting around, but, like, that is absurd. I know a lot of combos do a lot of damage, but that is one of the easiest combos in existence that you could land. And it's just, it's way too easy. Don't worry, it gets easier. Because, like all characters in this game, of course he has a second phase. And when I said this moves towards people, yeah, that moves towards people. And it homes. Like I said earlier, it homes. It's so annoying of a move. But of course, he has a second phase. Which ends up being really annoying too. Because of course it is. Now his second phase changes from range to practically melee. As you can see. Locking onto the opponent here. If you do hold one, specifically hold one. Usually that works better, but the get distance or something, I don't know. That tends to work a lot of the time. And yeah, it's charged up again. You can do this hold again, and now you're right in front of their face. Because why the hell not, right guys? Anyhow, your 3 does this. You turn into a Beyblade and get to stab the fuck out of your opponents. 4 has you teleporting directly on top of them and doing a lot of damage. 5 has a bit of a range and is what would count as a grapple. Kind of. And his Z is the same, which is technically 6 because not a lot of people change keybinds, but I do. So a basic combo would look something like... give me a second. A basic Jevil combo. Assuming you knowing what you're doing, and even then, you don't really need to know what you're doing, in all honesty, because he's just that easy. You really don't need to try with Jevil, in all honesty. It's ridiculous how easy it is to play. Which makes him really annoying because he's low risk, high reward at this point. So we're going to quickly second phase, and then I'll showcase his combo. Which, you're gonna notice something. Hold 1. Okay, you have to dash first, but whatever. I'll probably cut off, like, a lot of the failed combos here. Or not. Depends on how I feel. I don't play Jevil a lot, okay? I don't have his combos memorized. Because I just don't like Jevil, that's how it is. But usually his combos look something like this. And then you can just... And then if you need to close the distance, you can do that too. Don't forget, by the time all that's done, assuming the 4 hits, I can use this again. So, not only do you not have to spend any stamina walking towards and running towards people, because yes, that's what the blue bar is, because you can just teleport on top of them, use Beyblade mode, which doesn't use stamina, but you might argue, if you're seasoned at this game, oh hey, can't you just counter the Beyblade? And here's my argument to that. No the fuck you can't. No the fuck you can't. No the absolute fuck you can't. The amount of times that I've been baited before someone actually committed to a Beyblade, the record is 4. The record is 4. It's ridiculous. They're never gonna commit to a Beyblade if you can counter. Especially if they know vaguely what they're doing. Which means, this 3 has 0 counterplay. Unless you're playing one very specific character. But, you know... having a character with 0 counterplay just kind of sucks ass. You can't do anything against Jevil, which makes him inherently unfun and one of the most annoying things to play against. It's ridiculous, and why I'm going to put him as low to pick up, really easy to pick up in fact, easiest to pick up in the game, and really easy to master, because there's nothing to him. He's so basic. But, going down, Glitch Tokara. Honestly, this character can be described as shit just kind of happens. No, seriously, if you have... this character is hard to play. I'm gonna put it straight up. It's hard to pick up, hard to master. But if you know what you're doing, you can kind of just do whatever, and it fucking works. Don't believe me? The basic combo looks something like this. I'm not gonna explain the moves anymore, that takes too long. 4, 5, V. Cool. Now you start making shit up that kind of just works. Something I figured out early on is if you do this and do this. Which, by the way, is both hold 3 and, not hold 3. You can just kind of lay it on thick. Of course, this is going to be different in practice and whatnot, but because not everyone knows exactly what they're doing here. But if you know vaguely what the moves do, the amount of bullshit that you can pull. Shit just kind of happens with this character. And that is the least of the worries, because guess what? While they are the glass canniest of characters in the game, they come with a heal. I need to hurt myself. Hold on, come here. I need you to hurt me. Alright, cool. They come with 2 heals, or 1 heal, depending on how good you are at the game. The first heal will heal you by 30. The second heal, in the second phase, will also heal you by 30. Second phase isn't very different, besides them gaining a couple moves. Alright, cool. This character has the most nukes in the game with 3. This character has 3 fucking HP nukes. Now, if you didn't heal in the first phase, I figured this out a while ago, your heal in the second phase will heal you by 45 instead of 30. But if you heal in the first phase, it will only heal you by 30, which is technically more viable because that's 60 total health. Anyways, here's what I didn't show you. The first nuke. If you're close enough, it pins the enemy to the ground, and then booms them into the sky. Fun fact about that nuke, you actually can't continue to combo after it. There's a hard block that prevents you from doing it. The second nuke is this. You're not using it against someone who's fully standing, because if you get hit at all, it gets cancelled. But in exchange, that's a lot of damage if it manages to hit. Plus it's homing. There's nothing you can do about it. But, again, you kind of gotta wait for them to fall over. The 3 is a counter, which does decent damage and has a lot of knockback, but I can't showcase it because, you know, none of these dummies know how to stab a person besides the counter dummy, but that one doesn't apply. And after this second one charges out, oh yeah, this hate meter, like, changes your stats and whatnot. The higher your hate, the more your stats are, but you're better off using hate to use these nukes when you can, because they're just that strong. And you can combo with them. So why the fuck not? The second nuke teleports you directly on them, and blasts them with a lot of damage really far back. That would have done more damage if I angled it this way towards Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated up there. But, you know, standard stuff. The second phase isn't really that different, though. Besides higher stats and 1 new page counter. But yeah, no. The exact same shit works. The exact same random bullshit you can pull works. So let me pull out some random combo out of my ass. Let's pull something random. Okay, well that one didn't really work. But again, you can kind of just do whatever. Which makes this character hard to play, hard to pick up, hard to master, but really fun when it comes down to it. Also really high risk. If anything touches you, you die. You get melted so fast with this character. Moving on, we have Glitchtail Undyne, which is going to be one of the more complicated ones to talk about. So, first off, with Undyne. Her first phase and second phase are almost entirely different, and she has an optional third phase. Yes, I said optional. We'll get into that. But how does her first phase even work? With the basic multi-hit, we can chuck a spear, spears from the ground, jump up, chuck spears, chuck more spears, a cool melee hit, and then of course a counter. But what are these hold bars? What are these little bars that appear above the other moves, you might wonder? Specifically 2 and 4. Well, if you hold the button, that's what I would define as a grapple. By technicality, I guess. It is counterable, though, so it's weird. And if you do hold 4, you get this instead. This makes the combos for the first phase and second phase very different compared to what they used to be. So this is a more or less reworked first phase Undyne. They're fun to play. Kind of annoying, though. So, standard combo that most people are going to use. Like, most people are going to be able to use without heavy practicing. Knockback. There. Dash. 2. Dash. 3. Because it's just that simple. Dash. 5. You might not hit that. Usually it's a 4 instead of a 5. But, other combos. More advanced combos, specifically. You can do this. Okay, I gauged the distance wrong. But yeah, that's about what you would expect it to be. First phase is kind of neat. Doesn't really do that much damage, though. So, how different could the second phase actually be? This has a long as hell cutscene because of the skin, but either way, it's long. So how different could it actually be, you might be wondering, Click? Very different. Cool. Remember that close range 5? Don't worry, that's counterable. You just gotta react to it. The 1 is the same. 2 is very different. 3 is also very different. Jump up with slam. 4 is the same, but a lot more spears. Now, what's this X button? That's your nuke. You're not hitting that with someone at full stamina, but it's there. It's cool. So what would a standard, but then, what do the hold buttons do? And why is 5 holdable now? Well, it ends up looking like this. Hold 2. Hold 4. And hold 5. It's incredible how different. It feels a lot more aggressive, but this is a character that I would classify as a tank. You're not doing a lot of damage, you're kind of just wearing out your opponent until they finally decide to fucking die. So, I'll classify the characters eventually, like at the end, like more specifically, with how their playstyles and stuff would probably look like. But hey, it's the second phase Undyne. Now what would a combo look like? I'm kind of waiting for some of my things to recharge. So here's what a combo would arguably look like. Knockback. Hold 2. Let go. Hold 4. Bang. 1. Teleport. 2. Hold 5. It's kind of precise, but yeah, that works. And then you're left with all the other shit. In case you need supplements, you can do this. I meant to press 3, but that works. A lot of people like to block with 4, which is something I see a lot. And if you press 5, it breaks the block, it lets you go up in melee. So, you can also just do this. And holding 1 as a holding spear. Harder to dodge than it looks. Now, what's this transform button? Remember how it said 2.5 phases and I said optional 3rd phase? Well, cool, this is what it is. The determination, in case you're wondering, is an HP heal. You can heal 100 HP with that determination, which just makes them even tankier. However, to transform, it takes 75 determination and or HP, depending on how much you have and how much you're missing. They nerfed it to 70, it seems. Okay, so, what exactly does it do? Well, not only does it give you a stat buff, you can also just kick people's ass harder. The main difference in moves is that hold 1 looks like that. 2 has been overhauled. 3 is mainly the same, just more damage. 4 is mainly the same, more damage. 5 is mainly the same, more damage. I think you're starting to recognize a pattern here. So, what is different? Well, if you do hold 2, that's different. If you do hold 4, that's different. I've never seen someone actually hit that, though. Hold 1 specifically while they're down on the ground. Okay, either they remove the kick to the face, or it's really hard to pull off. Probably one of those two. And the X... Huh. You kind of just chuck a big spear at them. Unless you hold it. Oh, okay, they changed it from X hold to just pressing V. Alright, cool, but I like that. This undoes your transformation in exchange for big damage. But now, you're back to normal Undyne. Fun character. Hard to fucking use. Undyne is a very long-lasting character. They just don't die, frankly speaking. Undyne just does not know how to die. Which, very fitting for a character, frankly. Anyhow, that's Undyne. So now we're gonna move on to probably one of the harder characters to play in the game. Story Shift Kara, and also my favorite. Now then, Story Shift Kara is very iffy on playing. Not only does she have some relatively low stats compared to everything else, but she also kind of just... she plays very differently. But the main thing I would explain to any player trying to learn Story Shift Kara is that she mainly bases on control. But also damage over time, especially for our first two phases. That is a homing knife that follows your cursor. If you double tap, it turns orange. If you hold, it turns blue. Something that I don't see a lot of people doing. It works on Undertale mechanics. If your opponent is moving and your knife is orange, it won't do damage. If your opponent is standing still and your knife is blue, it won't do damage. If they're moving on blue, though, the knife will deal double its normal damage, but in exchange, you know, if they're not moving, they don't take damage. Not a lot of people know that. At least I don't think so. So what does the rest of the moveset look like? Well, there's the left mouse button. The 2 is a slight warning. It's guardable. And does that. Fun, isn't it? That usually is the combo ender. So, what are your other moves? Well, close range grapple, 3. 4. 5. That's a lot of knives, isn't it? Don't worry, they home. And Z's your counter. So what's this page of blasters? Well, damage. 2. Held. What's that? So what does a combo look like with Storage of Kara? Well, besides the fact that that blaster has a 40-second cooldown, so I'm going to have to reset this as much as you guys absolutely despise Storage of Kara talking. Or may not, I don't care. I don't know. So what does a combo with Storage of Kara look like? Look like, same difference. Alright, cool. Without any of the extra shit added in, this is what it's probably going to look like. Dash, 3, teleport, 4, damage, 4. Without extra shit, so you wouldn't do that. Blaster 2, bonk, knives 2. Now that's the combo without the extra shit. What you can do mid-combo to do more damage is, of course, use knives 1 and blaster 1. Assuming you don't modify knife 1 and you hit all hits with blaster, that is an additional 6.3 damage. Now, to be fair, this is against a dummy with really high defense, so damage tends to be more than that. But also, there's methods that you can take to almost guarantee all that damage happens. The main method being 4-1-5. Essentially what happens here, they're forced to sit there, tank the entire blaster, while the knives from 5 kind of wreck them and stun them in place. Works pretty well. Now what does the second phase look like? Because of course they have a second phase. This is also the most cinematic character, arguably, behind Reworked Sans. Yes, Reworked. We'll get into that eventually. Not a lot changes on this character, frankly. They kind of just do more damage. Yeah. I don't know what you expected. But, there's 2 very different moves. First off, this X. Homes on your opponent, and your cursor. Does that, stuns them for a bit. Cool, extra damage. And then 4. Looks like someone just animated a hit. But yeah, that's a lot of damage. That's very cool. Everything else is practically the same, except for this. This is their nuke. It does an absurdly high amount of damage, but it doesn't stun the player in place, meaning you need to make sure the opponent is on the ground when you use that. It also has a surprisingly short cooldown. Holy shit, 34 seconds? That is ridiculous. Alright. You can tell how little I actually use the thing. It doesn't get used a lot, unfortunately. So, what does an average combo look? Not very different, frankly. Besides basic timing, not a lot changes. Oh yeah, that does more damage too, by the way. So why not? And then you still have all of this extra shit to work with. So yeah, cool second phase. How about the third phase? Because of course they have a third phase. Why not? Their third phase is a complete overhaul on their character. So, first, let's get this out of the way. There's an additional... a lot of moves, but this character actually has more moves. They have a right mouse button. They don't tell you that. You can hold R and do this. They don't tell you that. So I'm going to assume you don't know that, and we're not going to use them, as useful as they are. So, 1. If you don't hold it, turns into this. Giant field of damage over time vines that slows your opponent while they are in them. You're gonna have to trust me on this. I've played this game a lot. 2. More thorns stick from the ground, stunning your opponent for a little bit. 3. It's like Undyne's 3. But a lot faster and with way too much range, honestly. You see that character over there? That dummy? I could hit that with 3 right here. Next up is 4. A grapple. Very close range. Good damage. 5. Stun projectile. Don't know how else to explain that. Z is a counter. X is nuke. Just to get closer. Yeah, that's like map-wide range. It's ridiculous. It is counterable. It is blockable, though, which leaves you very open for damage. And then memories. What do these do? Well, this one is blockable, but it basically spawns damage directly on the opponent. This one is also quote-unquote blockable, but it'll break your guard, so you're kind of forced to take the knockback. This one is unblockable, but can be dodged, and does a lot of damage. So what does a combo look like with third phase Story of Kara? I kid you not, this took me way too fucking long to figure out, but I finally have the combo. And this is going to use fucking everything, alright? So, do be warned. Hold 3. Not hold 3, this is 1. Dash. Bonk. 3. Dash. Right click. Dash. 5. Dash. Okay. I was a bit slow on that. Either that or I got the combo wrong. I think I got the combo wrong. I need to hold off on these cooldowns now. God damn it. Alright, so. We're gonna try this again! Ha ha ha! What I love practicing about combos and late phases. You can't just select the late phase. It sucks. Anyways. We're gonna try that again. And we're gonna assume they're max stamina, of course. So, the combo's gonna look like this. This. Dash. This. This. 5. Dash. 2. Hit. Right mouse button. 3. Bonk. 2. R. Dash. 4. And then 1. That's what the combo looks like. Good luck memorizing it. That's what I had to do. But anyways, yeah. Story of Kara is fun. Hard to pick up. Hard to master. My favorite character, so I'm gonna be fucking biased. Anyhow, now to the bulk. Very big bulk. Starting out with Asgore. Mr. Fluffy Buns himself. This guy can and will kick your ass. He's also the second easiest character behind Jebel. As much as I pain to say it, he's stupidly fucking strong for a couple reasons. First off, let's go into his moves. His left mouse button looks like this. That's fun. His 1, which you can hold. I still don't know how people cancel that. You can cancel it. I just haven't been able to figure that out. This mute status effect prevents you from using any of these little number pads that you see down here. Your skills. Which gets really annoying because Asgore can kind of just do that on demand. Gerson can too, but they're more or less the Gerson's is more severe, Asgore's is more annoying for a different reason. His 2. Bump back. Bump? Yeah. You jump back and then tackle him like a football player. 3. Dash forward. Smack him. That's counterable, by the way. 4. You launch a bunch of projectiles, and the last one does knockback. 5 is your nuke. Very close range nuke. And then Z is you counter, obviously. If someone comes up and bashes you across the face, you counter them. Now, the second page. Asgore's Fire. Good luck dodging that. That's blockable, though. Good luck blocking this. It's unblockable. Asgore's 3. Very, very good damage. And Asgore's 4, which is more damage over time flames than actually main damage. So, kind of just let that off whenever you can. If it wasn't obvious, Asgore's a bit of a slow character. Kind of. But at the same time, his health stat is... Oh boy. Trying to fight Asgore feels like Sisyphus pulling... Is it Sisyphus? Syphilis? Syphilis? That guy pushing up the boulder meme. That's also based on some sort of god. It feels like that. Fighting this guy is like trying to push a freaking boulder up a mountain. It is. I wouldn't say horrendous, but you gotta know where to pull yourself up by. So what does his combo look like? I need to wait 12 seconds for it. But in the meantime, we're gonna go over what super armor is. This little red thing that you see all the time. In short, you can't knock him out of the moves like you can every other character when he's in the middle of a move. And Asgore has the most wet super armor with 1, 2, 4, and 5 all having them. Characters absolutely will abuse this. And that's kind of part of his playstyle. So, here's his combo. Okay, you need to dash further to hit that. But then you follow up with this. That's a standard combo. Feel free to add on whatever you can. But that's usually when the average person will lay off on their combos, because that's about all you can hit. But then you're left with his entire rest of his arsenal to counter, combo, and destroy your opponent's will with it. So let's see what his second phase is. Right, I'm using his skin, so it's not as cool, but arguably cooler. But now they die. So, the moves 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 are all the same. So what are X is his Fire 4, as you may have noticed. Also, its damage just fucking doubled, apparently. Oh god. His Z is this Ring of Fire. We're gonna get more into that eventually. Anyhow, all of the rest of his moves are the same. I would love to showcase his counter, but I can't because none of these dummies know how to throw an actual punch. Great. Anyhow, this character is fucking awesome. Very cool looking. They get one difference, being they can hold their 4 now. Very easy to dodge, and all of their attacks now inflict fire, which is damage over time. What else do you want me to say? This damage over time is very strong, though. But the combo doesn't really change, funnily enough. That's dodgeable, so you wouldn't really finish with that. But what about this Z? The fire circle? Why can't I just... Well, the thing is, that's exactly what you're meant to, that's exactly what people do. It can be used defensively and offensively. And offensively? Funny. Anyways, that's Asgore. Very strong character, very simple. Easy to pick up, easy to master. Let's move on to Azrael. Soon to get a rework. Also a really easy character. I would say tied with Jevil and how easy it is to pick up. I'm gonna be as basic as possible with his moveset. Trust me on those. That's his left mouse button. Now, something you can do is if you stop hitting left mouse button and change to hitting right mouse button, I believe it's B on consoles, on controller. So, 2, 3, 4, and then you switch to the other button, you get extra damage off. And there's another variant of it, where you kind of punch him upwards. I don't know how you do that, though. I used to do it by accident all the time, but ever since I've trained my brain how to do that, I've forgotten how to do it. So, do comment that. Anyhow, here's what an Azrael combo looks like. Yes, that's homing. Yes, this teleports you directly onto them. Yes, this is also homing and undodgeable. You probably wouldn't do Chaos Saber 1, but now let's go over the character, shall we? I know I'm doing this in like really weird order, but bear with me here. So, Azrael's first one. Stars. That used to be harder to hit. Now it staggers you while you're on the ground and does way too much damage. His 2. Homing Lightning. Lightling. Yes, Lightling. This is Lightling now. Azrael's 3. Switches to sword form. Those are homing. This teleports directly on top of your opponent. Fun fact! If you're doing that, not only can you be countered, but someone can just bitch slap you out of it if they have a fast enough reaction time. And then also, you have your counter. It drains your opponent's blue bar, their stamina, by half, and stuns them for a little bit, so you can bitch slap them. His 4, gun. And if you hold it, you teleport on top of your opponent. Fun, right? His 5 is a really fun counter that I wish I could show you. Essentially, if you hit it, it goes on permanent cooldown. You can never use it again, but it also buffs all of your moves. to absurd heights. You get to see them later. So let's see what a second phase is. Another fun fact, Azrael was redone so that you can't skip his other phases, because Hypergoner used to be a move you could use on command, but now it's the second phase transition, which means you could entirely skip Azrael's second phase in quote-unquote third phase, more like a 2.5 phase, and completely skip all of it if you did enough damage, which made Mute really annoying against him, huh? Anyways, Azrael's second phase, his fists remain entirely the same. He gains more HP. He full heals, by the way. So, what are his moves? Balls of Death. More Balls of Death. This is where his kit gets interesting. Because these Lost Souls are his entire second phase. But no, seriously. This fucking first tab is basically your main damage. This second tab is everything else. We have Toriel. Decent damage over time. Right, they all go to cooldown at the same time. Here's Alphas. 4 bullets of stunning damage that do that are somewhat decent. Sands. Gaster Blaster. I don't know what you expected. Here's Undyne. I don't know why Undyne and Alphas aren't connected, but they just aren't for some reason. So here's Asgore. You can block that. You can block it and also parry it. Parry is if you block at the moment they hit you, but I can't showcase that because none of these dummies here know how to throw a punch. And it also refills your stamina by whole max. Asgore doesn't do that though. This Asgore specifically doesn't do that. And then here's the 3. So, what does a combo with Azrael look like? Because clearly this is some weird shit, right? Like, you think he wouldn't have a combo, right? But he does. So you kind of just walk up to someone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well, you're not supposed to finish it off with that. But you can kind of see where this is going. Cool. There's your basic combo. Okay. Now what do I do from there, Click? Like, what do you mean basic combo? That's 2 moves. There is a way you can extend it. You do this. Switch, Undyne. And then Asgore. Switch back. Cool. That's all you get from Azrael. No, seriously, that's actually all you get. You don't get a lot more from him. Like, no, seriously, that's all you get. Well, accept this. It's dodgeable. Does the most damage in the game for a nuke, I'm quite sure. Man, that's a lot of damage for a nuke. Holy shit. How much defense does the dummy have? 160? Okay, so it might be less damage than that. But yeah. That's a lot of damage, right? Cool. Now you're back to his first phase, but buffed. So let's showcase these buffs. Yep. Uh-huh. Basically, it's just his first phase with extra damage, but now your only counter is this. That's it. Also, I'm spamming my movement keys. You get stopped for a while there. Azrael. Second easiest character to play besides Jevil, because you can kind of just pull whatever bullshit you want, and it kind of just works. There's not a lot to get confused about with him. However, if you don't know Lost Souls, you're probably not going to get a lot of usage out of his second phase. Very easy to play. I'm glad he's getting a rework, because holy shit, he's needed one. He's very annoying to fight against. Frisk. I'm going to say it right now, this character is the hardest to pick up and the hardest to master. Because, what in the fuck am I looking at? Like, what am I actually looking at? Why is there a tab for weapons and armors? Cool. I'm going to try and explain that. Starting shortly. I need to get this guy out of the fucking wall. So, all of their weapons, all these weapons, have different effects, different moves, different melees. And yeah, we're gonna start simple with armors. Armors are simply stat buffs and stat debuffs. That's it. Semi-armor restricts all of your damage in exchange for the most defense. Cowboy Hat has a moderate damage increase and a really high defense increase. Stained Apron buffs your healing by 5 HP each and has decent stats. Cloudy Glasses is more defensive, lose attack. Old Tutu has decent attack, but you have mediocre defense. Manly Bandana has more damage and the same defense? Huh. So there's literally no reason to not use Manly Bandana over Tutu. Okay, I didn't know that. Faded Ribbon. It's basically Temi armor if you're allowed to have a little damage. Bandage is go for broke, glass cannon mode. You're doing a lot of damage, but you can die from a single Jevil combo. I'd have to double check that, but it feels like you do. So, what do the weapons look like? Well, first off, we have Worn Dagger. We're gonna go over these one by one to help you try and understand, and then I'll showcase a full combo later. With the Worn Dagger, you come up close, stab. And then, of course, you can keep stabbing after that. 2, basically a grapple. 3 is a dash, that also is a grapple. And then projectiles. Cool. Gun. It's simple. Now, this gun is a lot like Justice from Kara. You can shoot shots, you can hold it for a knockback shot. Pan. This is where you get all your healing. Noodles heal for 15. Pie heals for 20. 25, actually. And the Legendary Hero heals you nothing, but it gives you a damage boost of like 28 damage. This is your counter. You're not using it for anything else. Ballet Shoes. Kick. You can run up. You do this. You turn into a Beyblade for a moment. It's a lot weaker than Jebel. Tough Gloves. It's like Goku or something, I don't know. You're 1, you come up close, bash their face in. Now, I'm gonna skip Toy Knife for a second. Here's the stick. You wouldn't think anything good would come out of the stick, right? Funnily enough, it's one of Frisk's really good shit, because instead of knocking them back, they get knocked down. This combos really well with a lot of things, like the Toy Knife. It is a carbon copy of the Worn Dagger one, however, it can be used against an opponent that's on the ground. Very important distinction there. So, what does a combo look like with Frisk? Assuming you know what you're doing, vaguely. You're gonna be wearing the hat most of the time. No one's actually wearing bandage. Not a lot after, usually. Unless they're like 3,000 kills really confident, because holy shit, they will shred you. So, here's what a Frisk combo will look like. I'm going to use everything in my arsenal. Fair warning. 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, Z. Okay, you're supposed... What, that works. 5, 1. V. 1, 2. 3. 2. Hold. Yup. That's a full Frisk combo. Long enough to go to the bathroom and come back and still be mid-combo. It's a long combo, does a lot of damage. So what gives? Why? And that's the main reason why Frisk is so hard to master, because there's a lot of shit, it's very overwhelming, and you need to get good at switching to these things, otherwise you're gonna get left behind. So, what is their second phase? Greetings, Gamering. I am Kara. You still have something to do, don't you? Together, we eradicated the enemy before, and now I won't let you die that easily. Determination. Alright, so, this is different to the Worn Dagger. Not only do you have 4 highly damaging projectiles, these do a lot of damage, but now the one, it's the Toy Knife now. Don't worry, you also have a nuke. You get a speed boost, because why not? You get a better gun. It's a 6-shooter now. Because why would a revolver have only 4 shots? And you still have access to your healing. So what does a Kara combo look like? Looks more like this. And then from there, you would use a gun hold 2. So yeah, a lot simpler, very tanky, pretty high damage. Second phase can and will kick your ass. Don't let your guard down because the combo is much shorter. Be scared because that one combo that's much shorter now does as much damage as that 2-minute long cutscene that you had in Frisk's first phase. Be concerned. Hard to pick up, hard to master. And now, for the first event character in the game. Honestly, I don't like Gaster. He's easy to pick up, and I would say moderately hard to master for a specific reason I'll get into later. Gaster, I fucking hate fighting him. He feels cheap. There's his melee, and this is one of the reasons why. Good luck reacting to that. Cool. Now you're on the ground for a long time, and that has a 20-second cooldown. Don't worry, they can also run up, bash you in the face with this. Press this, damage, hold it, and now you get dragged to them. Don't worry, they can smack you. 5 is a steal moves, which they have super armor, so good luck hitting them out of that. You just have to dodge that. Z's the counter. Here's their nuke. Fun fact, you can move around and dodge in this. No, it does not need stamina. Jebel's first phase used to have a counter like this, but that was revoked because it, 1, did way too much fucking damage. I'm quite sure that it could do like 70 damage if you were really bad at the minigame. It was nigh impossible to actually dodge everything, and also having 2 different counters for 2 different phases kinda just didn't work. Not that well, at least. So what does a combo for Gaster look like? This. Now, you might be like, click. That looks like a really easy combo. It's because it is. Alright, let's just be frank. You don't even need to do a melee to start that combo. You can just do this. And now you get to hit the combo. The AoE and reaction time you need to dodge that is a lot more than you'd think. As in, your reaction time is a lot lower than you'd think. It sucks. Gaster is horrible to play against. However, you have to keep moving. If you stop moving, that thing's hitting you, and now he's landing, oh, I don't know, an additional 16 damage by base. Kind of ridiculous. Now, why did I say moderately hard to master? Because steal moves steals your opponent's movesets. Quite literally. Which means you also need to vaguely know every other character to play Gaster efficiently. Straightforward. He's also a fucking tank. He has the 2nd most HP in the game. 3rd most HP, actually. He has the 3rd most, or is it 4th most? He has a lot of HP. That 178 is a lot to beat down when you're actually fighting him. Oh, don't worry. He has a 2nd phase, like everything else does. Because why not, right, guys? Of course he'd have a 2nd phase. His moveset got an entire overhaul. Here's his 1. His 2. Good luck dodging that. His 3. Now, to showcase his 3. If you run into that. In short, if you run into that, you get knocked back. His 4 is the same. I meant 4, not 5. That's the same. His X does this. Stuns them. Now, something to clarify about that. If they are further back in the of that, if they're on like the back side of it, they get knocked back instead of just stunned in place for a bit. If they're on one of the left or right sides, they're forced into the middle, and it's a whole thing. We're not gonna go too far into it. And here's his nuke. Cool as all hell, I will say. But at the same time, fighting Gaster is not a good experience. He was available as an event character first. Now you kind of just get him on random when you die. Usually, by the time you have 5 kills, you're gonna have him. which not only ruins the novelty of him, but also because he's just not fun to fight. Like, straight up, you cannot stop moving against Gaster. If you stop moving, you're getting hit with a big combo, you're losing a bunch of HP, which means you lose your stamina, which means you eventually stop moving, which means eventually you get bitch slapped. He's not fun to fight. He just isn't. So not only can he restrict your movement... Oh, hey, that's what it does. You got to see it because it was forced into a wall. He forces you to move. Has a bit of super armor, meaning you just get hit. Can steal your moves, meaning he can keep attacking even after all of his moves are on cooldown. And in fact, can combo with his Gaster moves, with the other moves, by the way. And it's just kind of a bitch to fight. I don't like fighting Gaster, I don't like playing him. He feels cheap, he feels clunky, which I'm quite sure is by design. So, I just don't like him. Easy to pick up, moderately easy to master. So now, original Sans. I'm not gonna go too deep into him because he's gonna get removed from the game eventually. But he's weird. He's a lot weirder than all the other characters. Bones. Bones from below. Blue bones. If you move, that stuns you. Those big bones is if I hold 3, it causes those blue bones, which actually stuns the player no matter what if they're in it. Bones from the front. Bones from the back. I think a lot of people would find that really weird depending on what they're into. Blasters. Blaster 1. Damage. Blaster 2. Damage plus knockback. Blaster 3. More damage. Blasters 4. More damage. Blasters 5. Even more damage. Telekinesis. Jumping sends them up, which then lets you combo. Now, you might see something about Sans and be like, hold on, wait a minute. How the fuck are you meant to play this guy? Well, and that's where I get into why I don't like him. He's a zoner. By design, he's a zoner. You don't have the knockback to be able to run up and bitch slap people. You're kind of forced to stay back and let them engage first. And here's telekinesis. If you send them back, bone. And of course, that has a 24-second cooldown, because why the fuck not? His only forms of knockback are his telekinesis, his melee, and his blasters too. Which means you kind of just... I don't like him. He's very spammy. He doesn't have a second phase, believe it or not. And I'm glad he got his rework. His rework is so good. I love his rework so much. But yeah, this is what Sans used to be. Eventually it will be lost media, so this part of the video probably won't end up mattering very long. But yeah, what does his combo look like? I gotta wait for my telekinesis and bones to come back, though. It's very simple, and you kind of just spam everything until you win. Of course, with decent thoughts about your own preservation. So what does his combo look like? Oh yes, he has that one thing that Azrael has as well, so... Yep, and then you just continue to spam. Maybe not the 4 and 5. Maybe not the 3, 4, and 5, because they force you to sit still for a while. And if your opponent isn't really down, you get bitch slapped. Blasters 5 is your nuke, if that wasn't obvious. And Telekinesis 2, I'm not showcasing to you, but essentially it's giant it's basically Sans' final stand. So yeah, that's Sans. So what does his rework look like? He could not get a better rework, I will say. I fucking love his rework. It's so fun. This... Oh yeah, Old Sans, hard to pick up, hard to master. Hard to pick up, hard to master is Sans' rework as well. But he's so fun. This is probably the most dynamic character to play in the entire game, and I absolutely adore it. First off, it's basically the same as his unreworked. 3, 4, hold right click, boom, does that. Now, why was the 2 glowing? Well, it's well, we'll get into all his moves normally first. Unheld. 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 Is 4 normally. Is 5 normally. Alright, so what's the deal? You can't use 1 or 2 held, but you can use 3 held, which does this. But there's also a different variant of all of these. We'll get into that. Blasters. You can set them up. You can hold, and they all fire. Or, you can get to 0 usages, press the button, and they all fire. Blasters 2. Knockback. Blasters 3. Jump up, damage. Blasters 4. More damage. Blasters 5. Your nuke. Alright. Standard character. He has a lot more knockbacks this time. So, what makes his character different? Well... remember when I said he was dynamic? He has a lot of shit like that that's conditional, but really fucking fun if you pull it off. Also, if you double tap 3, it turns blue. Walking into it stuns your opponent. Simple enough. He has so much shit like this that just makes him absolutely amazing to play. I love it so much. I cannot overstate how much I love playing this character. It's ridiculous. Like, these 500 kills I have, roughly 600 now, maybe about 300 of those are just playing this character. Another 100 of those is probably playing Gerson, and then the other few is distributed among the other characters. So, oh yeah, hold 1. You teleport behind them and blast them. Cool. This character is so fucking fun. Now, if you go up close and use 4, you launch them, and you bonk them. Fun. So what does a standard combo with Santa's WeWork look like? Well, there's 2 ways you can do it. One is a zoner playthrough. Playthrough? Yeah, no. Play style. The other is a close range play style. Practically brawler. I prefer the brawler play style. I just like it a lot more, so that's what I'm going to go with. So, that's what I'm going to show you. That's a conditional. You can hold 2 for this. You can press 4 for this. I'm not going to get too complex here, so you can do this. You can do this. Dash. Hold 3, and then blast is 4. Press 4, not hold 4. And that's what a standard combo of his looks like. You have so much extra bullshit in your arsenal, dude. It is absurd. So, we're going to quickly reload here. Because he's just that fun. I just like this character, dude. He's so good. He's so great to play. I'm not going to show the zoner, but I will show a much more complex and try-hard version of that combo. It's going to be roughly the same, but I'm going to add some shit to it. Blasters hold. 1, 3, 1. Dash. Press 3. Now, you may not recognize it, but hold on. The reason that's possible is because, look, notice how fast he gets up when you knock him down. That's pretty damn fast, right? So, why did... But if I do this and hit him with the blaster, he sits down for a bit longer, which lets you run up and do this. And this. And then if you want to, this. This is another example of shit just be happening. If you know vaguely how Santa's attacks works, you can combo them however the fuck you like, and that makes a very fun character. But what about a second phase? To the bone. His second phase is fun. Not very different. Just kidding. His blasters are bigger. This one moves forward. His 3 crashes into you. His 4 and 5 are the same. So what gives? Well, it's not really a permanent change. It's a buff. This telekinesis buff. If that runs out, you're back to using your normal moves. So that's why I'm kind of showcasing all of them in rapid succession. Here's what the combo would look like more. And then from there you do blasters, hold 2, and then you kind of just go from there. But like, what's the point of that buff if it doesn't last for that long? Well, his counters also change in the second phase, which I can't showcase because none of these bastards know how to throw a punch. But in short, if you hit a counter, you get your telekinesis buff back and can start wailing on your opponent again. Now, as you can see, my moves are back to normal. So yeah, fun character. Hard to pick up, hard to master. I don't even believe I've mastered this yet, dude. But I fucking love him. So, how would I rate these characters? What are my favorite characters? What characters do I hate and absolutely despise? Well, first off, this is completely biased. If you don't like this tier list, quote-unquote tier list, then go fuck yourself. This is my preference. Starting at the absolute bottom of the barrel. I hate Jevil. I hate him. I hate him. I absolutely fucking hate him. And I don't play him. Up next, Gaster. He requires moderate game knowledge, but he ends up being really annoying to fight against. Next up, Azrael. Also really annoying to fight against. You don't really need to know what you're doing. You can more or less just spam shit and it works. Which is very different compared to other characters that I like. Up next is a bit of a toss-up, but I'm going to say Glitchtail Undyne. Rated much higher than others. I like their playstyle, but due to their very tanking nature, because they just don't die, they don't do too much damage either, so fights end up lasting a long time, even in the true hero form. Fights end up lasting a while, and it kind of just drags on. Next up, I'd say Asgore, which I'm going to define as a bruiser. You do not really move that fast, but after you get hit, oh boy, you're taking a lot of damage. Super Armor kind of cheeses a lot of combos. You can cut people off mid-combo with Super Armor by just using a move that has it, so yeah. He's cool to play, easy to play if I want to give my brain a break, but overall, he's also very strong. So he gets looked down a lot in the community, which is kind of deserved. Super Armor's kind of bullshit. Up next, I would say is... Ooh, it's hard. But Unreworked Sans is where I would put next. He's fun to play, but at the same time, he's kind of boring. Like, especially compared to his rework. Like, dude, the glow-up Sans got is absolutely amazing. Next that I would put is probably Glitchtail Kara. I play this character a lot these days. I find them really fun and enjoyment, because you can kind of just throw bullshit out and it works if you know vaguely, not even vaguely, if you know what you're doing. Which is why I tier them higher than Jevil, Azrael, and Gaster. With those three, you can more or less just kind of spam shit and it works. With Kara, you need to know what you're doing at least, so that's why I rate them higher. Up next, Gerson. Easy to pick up, hard to master. You'd be surprised how much that right mouse button changes how I play this character, ever since I learned about how much it varies and shit, and its counters and whatnot. Very fun character. Not as tanky. I'd say they probably classify as a tank. Probably Bruiser with Asgore, actually. On that note, Jevil's a glass cannon. Quotation marks on glass. He's a lot tankier than he looks. Kara's a glass cannon. Undyne's what I'd classify as a tank. Storage of Kara's a glass cannon. Undertale Asgore's a bruiser. Azrael's DPS, but also not really glass cannon either. There's a very thin line. Glass cannon means they die easily. DPS means they don't die as easily, but they don't do as much damage. Next up on the Gasser would be DPS. Sans would be DPS, funnily enough. Sans rework would be arguably DPS as well, but can be a tank because sometimes it just takes forever to kill him, man. Where is I on the tier list? Oh, right, okay. So, top spot is between Sans rework and Sword of Kara. Sans rework is really fucking fun. I love it, and it's why it's going in number 2. You gotta know what you're doing. You can kind of just throw shit out, and if you know vaguely what it does, it works. It's such a fun character to play if you take the time to learn the variants, learn the differences, close range and far range. It's all playstyles in one character, and it's fucking awesome, and I love it. And then, of course, my favorite, Storage of Kara. Punishing, but can absolutely get torn apart in an instant, meaning you need good game knowledge, you need to know how the character works, you need to know how your opponent's character works, just everything. It's like the ultimate test of knowledge to the game, and it's why I like them so much. So yeah, this is probably going to get uploaded without much. But this is going to be my quote-unquote guide to Undertale Test Place Reborn. Not a lot of people play this game. Well, I say that, yet it has like 500 players daily minimum, so yeah. But if you want to pick up the game, pick up this video. It might be able to help you a little bit. One other thing I'd like to note, if you go back, there's an options menu. Options I like to turn on and off. Anti-teaming. This makes it so when you're in a 1v1 with someone in like the main field, you can't get bashed by some other random person. It prevents you from getting third-partied. Move queuing is something I see a lot of people use. I don't do it personally, but essentially what it lets you do is it lets you select a move when you're in the middle of a combo with another move, and it uses that move automatically. And I'm quite sure it goes in the order you hit them too, so it's pretty nice. I like to turn off spawn animations and death animations because they just take for fucking ever. And then from there, you can kind of just turn on and off what you wish. There's a lot of stuff here. I don't know what the fox does. I don't know what it does, so I just have that off. You can view hitboxes, you can view stuns. Like, there's a lot of stuff that lets you help and play the game. And then if you go to Moveset Builder, this is not what we want, actually. Screen edit. Screen edit. You can put this anywhere you want. You can change what button it is to see everything. You can like, change the buttons to what does what. You can change buttons to be different B keys. So if I wanted this to be, like, somewhere else entirely, I could set this to be fucking R, P for some reason, but I like Z. You can change where this is on the screen. So you can just move it around, increase its size, you can decrease its size. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. I'm not gonna tell you how it works because it's gonna be different for everyone. And everyone's gonna have their own playstyles and whatnot, but yeah. And for mobile, all your buttons are up here. I don't play mobile personally, but some people can absolutely destroy you on it, so give them credit where credit's due. People can and will destroy you. But yeah, that's Undertale Test Place Reborn. This is my video on it. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. This is what I said. Alright, so, goodbye.